Hello, students. I am here again to present a video on what is man without the beast, a reading of fourth unit. In a previous video, a few paragraphs have been finished, and today we will continue from there. Yesterday, in a previous video, we discussed this paragraph. We are a part of the earth, and it is a part of us. The perfumed flowers are our sisters, the deer, the horse, the great eagle. These are our brothers. The rocky crests, the juices in the meadows, the body heat of the pony, and the man all belong to the same family. So, when the great chief in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land, he asks much of us. The great white chief sends word that he will reserve us a place so that we can live comfortably to ourselves. He will be our father, and we will be his children. So we will consider your offer to buy land, but it will not be easy, for this land is sacred to us. This is where we finished yesterday, and we'll continue today from the next paragraph. The shining water that moves in streams and rivers is not just water, but the blood of our ancestors. This is the regard that he has for the water that flows in his place. The streams and rivers, not just water, they are the blood of their ancestors. If you sell your land, you must remember that it is a sacred blood of our ancestors. These are conditions, is a putting condition. If we sell, you must remember that it is the sacred blood of our ancestors, so that they should not exploit the environment, exploit the rivers. If we sell your land, you must remember that it is sacred, and you must teach your children that it is a sacred, and that each ghostly reflection in the clear water of the lakes tells of events in the life of my people. The water's murmur is the voice of my father's father. Here, if you say another condition, you must remember that it is sacred, and you must teach your children. What must the white people teach to their children? They must teach their children that the land is sacred, water is sacred, everything is holy. When we consider holy anything, when we consider anything holy, we don't exploit it. We treat that with great respect. That's why the Chief Seattle reminds these Americans to treat the nature sacred. And a ghostly reflection, and that each ghostly reflection in the clear water of the lakes tells of events in the life of my people. Everything holds the memory of this red man, red Indian. When they see some reflection in the water, okay, they think of their ancestors. That is the ghostly reflection in the clear water of the lake tells of events in the life of my people. When they see, they recall some events that happened in the past. That's why it is sacred to them. The water's murmur is the voice of my father's father. When a water flows, it makes some indistinct sound. That indistinct sound is nothing but his ancestors, father's voice of his father's father. Redman's. The rivers of our brothers quench our thirst. Rivers of our brothers, they consider rivers also as their brothers, and they quench their thirst. Quench means satisfy, a desire to drink water. That is the quench. Okay, satisfy, sorry. Quench means satisfy. The rivers satisfy their thirst. How? Because they get the water to drink from the rivers. The rivers carry our canoes. Canoes are small boats. The rivers carry our canoes and feed our children. How? Because they use their canoes, small boats, to go for fishing, and they get it and they eat, everybody. If you sell you our land, you must remember to teach your children that the rivers are our brothers. See, he has been saying, the rivers of our brothers quench our thirst. So, if we sell you our land, you must remember that the rivers are our brothers. Everything, they relate everything uh, in the nature with some relation. That's why they uphold the nature and they do not destroy the nature. But those who do not have these sentiments are the people who destroy the environment. Okay, here we have to understand that Chief Seattle have already sensed that when these Americans take over this land, they are going to destroy it. At least he's making some effort uh, to let them know that the earth holds the memory, the land holds the memory, or everything in the land holds the memories of Red Indians living there for centuries. So that they will, these Americans, they will not damage so much. With that hope, he made this speech. And this is really a moving speech if you really understand. If you sell your land, you must remember to teach your children that the rivers are our brothers, so that they will not exploit and yours. Rivers are brothers of Red Indians and brothers of white people. That means Americans. And you must henceforth give the rivers the kindness that you would give my brother. That's the point. Now he said it already. So when you consider river as your brother, you will treat it kindly. So yeah, I don't know whether you understand the situation of our rivers in India, highly polluted, because we destroy. We don't have any regard for the nature. We don't have regard for anything that is in nature. Okay, we'll move on with the next point. Precious. The air is precious to the red man. Air is precious. You see, if there is no air, we cannot live. See, this uneducated man, Chief Seattle, understood that air is invaluable, very precious to the red man. It's not only for red man; it's precious to everyone. But we don't seem to understand. We don't pay attention to that. That's we pollute the air and make it unsuitable for inhalation even. The air is precious to the red man, for all things share the same breath. All the living creatures have the same breath, the same, they take in the same breath. Animals take the air that human beings take. The beast, animals, the trees, the man, they all share the same breath. That's why Red Indians consider the areas as so precious, because it's a life-giving source. The white man does not seem to notice the air he breathes, because the air he breathes is polluted so much because of the pollutants in the air. He caused those pollution in the air. So white man, that means Americans, does not seem to notice, does not look like he does not look like he noticed the air, the kind of air that he is taking in. Like a man dying for many days, he is numb to the stench. Okay, here you have to understand, like a man dying for many days. So, okay, the man who is about to die, okay, he is sure to die. Okay, but life is still there. Okay, but he cannot sense. He does not have any feelings. He does not have a sense of smell. He does not have a sense of taste. He becomes completely numb. Okay, like that, he compared, Chief Seattle compared Americans with a man dying for many days. He is numb to the stench. Stench means a bad smell. Bad smell that he created. He became habituated. White man became habituated with the air that he breathes. That's why he became numb, feeling less, to the bad smell. Stench means bad smell. But if we sell you our land, you must remember that the air is precious to us, that the air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. See, the words that are used here is really unbelievable that an uneducated man understood the nature, everything in the nature so well without reading anything from the books. That is really beautiful. See, but if we sell you our land, you must remember that the air is precious to us. The air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. Air has some spirit, and uh, it shares its life with everyone. It with all the life. It shares its the air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. That means, see, the air also has some spirit in it, some uh, divine element, spirit with all the life it supports. The wind that gave our grandfather his first breath also receives his last sigh. That means the air which his grandfather took first when he came into the earth, when he was born, is the same breath he exhaled. He exhaled when he died. That is the meaning of sigh, exhaled. And if we sell you our land, you must keep it apart and sacred. If we sell you our land, you must keep it apart, separate. Okay, they should not come. They should keep it separately, this land which they took it from the Red Indians. And they should also keep it sacred as it is, as these Red Indians kept. As a place where even the white man can go to taste the wind that is sweetened by the meadow's flowers. So that when it is kept apart, even the white man can go once in a while to that place and get that fresh air. Okay, so that he is energized. So we will consider here offer to Bayan. See, these conditions he is putting so far. And if you decide to accept, I will make one condition. Okay, the above points are also conditions. They must teach their children that rivers are their brothers and theirs too. And they must teach, okay, they must understand that the air that they breathe is precious. Okay, like that. His condition continues. If we decide to accept, I will make one condition. The white man must treat the beasts of this land as his brothers. This is the most important condition, because white people are so senseless that history shows that they have killed many animals mercilessly just for the meat. That's why and that means this Chief Seattle is aware of what the white man, what kind of destruction the white man has done previously. Now he is reminding them: if you treat the animals as your brothers, as their brothers, they will not kill. So that is the condition that he is putting in. I am a savage and do not understand any other way. I am savage. Who is savage here? Chief Seattle is saying savage. When one says that one is savage, that means he is uncivilized. He does not know anything, ignorant, foolish, okay, uneducated, uncivilized, all these things. He says, Chief Seattle says like that. But actually, he is not. He is not savage, actually. It is the white man who is savage, who caused the destruction to the nature. And this red man says, I am savage, I do not understand any other way. I have seen thousands of rotting buffaloes on the prairie. See, he said. So he has known that. I have seen thousands of rotting buffaloes on the prairie. Okay. Left by the white man who shot them from a passing train. He has seen so many dead bodies of buffaloes. These bodies, these buffaloes are killed by the white man from a passing train, a train that passing from that train. They cannot hunt them. They cannot come to the ground and hunt them, because they are so powerful. They can attack and kill them. That's why these white people, as they move in the train, they killed them. And this red Indian chief, Seattle, has seen thousands of buffaloes that were rotting. Killed by the white man who shot them from a passing train. I am a savage and do not understand how this smoking iron horse can be made. Smoking iron horse is the train here. How the smoking iron horse can be made more important than the buffalo that you kill only to stay alive. Machine, what Chief Seattle is saying, machine is made more important, more valuable than the life of the buffalo. See, a machine can be made, but life cannot be made. Okay, so he is anguished that the machines are, that means the train here, train is made more important than the buffalo. And they killed these buffaloes only to stay alive. To stay alive, they have killed this. What is man without the beasts? If all the beasts were gone, the man would die from a great loneliness of the spirit. For whatever happens to the beast soon happens to man. All things are connected. See, he is without reading from the books, he is hinting at ecological balance. Human being cannot survive without the animals. Okay, they, in the life cycle, one species, human species, depends on animal species. Animal species depend on some other life form. So in the life cycle, everything is dependent. If one is not there, the total cycle is affected. That's what he is hinting at. What is man without the beasts? If all the beasts were gone, that means if all the animals were killed, man would die from great loneliness of the spirit. Okay, he is speaking sentimentally, but scientifically that is true. If animals are not there, man would also die sooner or later. For whatever happens to the beast, soon happens to man. All things are connected. If bees are killed, all bees are killed, then the next species human being. Okay, so he also will soon be killed, and that way that total nature will be destroyed. So he says to let all things live. He says to let all animals and everything in the nature live peacefully, so that we can also live peacefully. So that's all for today. I read through the text again and again to be able to understand. Until then, bye bye. See you in the next video.